Welcome back to KTSM 9 News Today. So this weekend, the El Paso Zoo had to close down. There was a bomb threat. It's going to be reopening this morning at 9 o'clock. But here's what happened. They had to evacuate because police were investigating the threat and spent about 4 hours searching the zoo on Saturday. Now, EPPD didn't find any threat, and then it was, of course, Bugfest this weekend, which is one of their biggest draws of the year. And so the zoo said they were using Sunday to have their team catch up after Saturday's, quote, distractions in anticipation of today's reopening. But it was pretty scary. They said they got an anonymous call. That's reported. That's what's being reported, that they got an anonymous call and they had to close everything down. But one of the things that I was thinking was, you know, I have granddaughters that are 13 and 14 years old, so I probably would have let them wander around a little bit by themselves. But that kind of brings up the whole safety thing.
Right.
And so to me,
having a safety plan is what you mean.
Yes, having a safety plan. And so to me, I was thinking to myself, okay, so what happens if we had gotten separated? What happens if one of your kids had run off and you'd gotten separated in the kind of craziness? You first of all, you have to kind of make sure that your kids know your name, not mom and dad. And there's a lot of kids who don't know their parents' actual name. Right? So make sure your kid knows your actual first and last name.
You know, when the boys were small, we had a code word.
Yes.
And if that person didn't know that code word, then they shouldn't go with them.
Right. And that's another thing. Have a family code word. And have it be something like silly that nobody would be able to really, it wouldn't be like off the top of somebody else's head. You know, but that's another thing that, you need to think about, doing when you go. I mean, we live in weird times.
And
stuff like this could happen.
Predators will take advantage of a situation like this.
Yes, exactly.
And if they see a child who is visibly looking for somebody, they'll say, "Oh, they're over here. Come with me."
Right.
Which is why we had that code word.
And it's not
that would be the first thing they would have to ask. What's the code word?
What's the code word? Yeah. And that it's not even a situation like this where somebody's getting evacuated. Kids run off in stores all the time. And if they don't know how to tell somebody in authority what your name is, and what's your mom's name? Mom? That's not going to help anybody.
No, it won't narrow it down.
No, it won't. And so that's the kind of thing, that was the thing that I kind of took away from this whole thing, because when my kids were little, when my grandkids were little, I made sure that they knew my name wasn't Sithi. My name is Patricia. And they knew how to tell somebody what my name was, what their mom's name was, what their dad's name was. So that was the kind of thing I took away from this. But thank goodness the zoo is opening, and I'm glad that everything calmed down.
I looked into it, and so far I haven't seen anything about them rescheduling another Bugfest event. It looks like it's done.
That's